Every type of fibro pain needs its own approach. I'm Sharon, she's Ginevra. We both have professional and personal expertise with fibromyalgia. Today, Ginevra is leading us through the best topicals for different types of fibro pain.
Absolutely. And I will say that every time I talk about topicals for pain, I also like to remind people there's about 3 or 4 different types of fibro pain. We talked about that in a recent episode, and each type of pain needs its own treatment approach. Like it's not a one size fits all. And when we're talking about topicals, where I find them to be really helpful are for those localized hot spots of kind of tension, irritation, inflammation. For me, it tends to be like jaw, upper neck, or areas of like overuse. Like if I've been computing a lot, my forearms or, shoulders, hands will feel really kind of flared up. And that's where I really like topicals. And unfortunately, a lot of doctors don't really seem to know about these. And a lot of patients actually aren't, unfortunately, able to use. I mean, if their doctor doesn't tell them about it, there's not a lot of ways for folks to get that information of like, oh, hey, there's these things I could try. So part of what we're trying to bring you here at the show. So if you like what we are talking about and you'd like to see more of it, like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon. You can be notified whenever we do a show. So I'm going to start with magnesium. So magnesium, when taken orally, has kind of a more systemic effect. I talk about that in other videos and in a blog post, drginevra.com. I'll link in the description below. But when we're talking about topical magnesium, we're really looking for its effects as a muscle relaxant. So it actually can really help if you have areas of muscle tension or cramping, even something like restless legs, or where you have like kind of a cramping feeling in your calves at night. This is where I think topical magnesium can be so helpful. It comes in both an oil or a lotion form. I tend to like the lotion form best. Oil can be a bit more concentrated and a bit more irritating to the skin. And Ancient Minerals has a really lovely lotion that I like, and we'll put the link in the description below. The key thing to remember with magnesium is do not apply it over areas of broken skin. It is a salt and it will hurt. So as long as you know that can be a little irritating to the skin, I think magnesium is a great option. And you don't have to take my word for it. There was actually a study done at the Mayo Clinic in 2015 where they looked at topical magnesium, transdermal magnesium, for I think it was like twice a day for 4 weeks for fibromyalgia patients, and it showed significant improvement in their symptoms, particularly pain. So I can link to that article in the description below as well. So something to check out if you have not done it before.
The nice thing about topicals too is it doesn't need to go through your body systemically like many other things do. So I feel like there's sometimes some less side effects from doing a topical versus a medication you would swallow.
100%. And particularly when you're talking about magnesium, which when taken orally can cause sometimes a laxative effect. I mean, if you take like if you bathed in magnesium lotion, if you did a really huge dose and you were super sensitive to it, it might cause loose stool. But the amount that we use typically, even if you're somewhat sensitive to magnesium when taken orally, not that much is absorbed into your bloodstream or into your GI system. So yeah, it can be a really nice way, whether it's magnesium or the next thing I'm talking about, you get less systemic absorption than if it goes through your stomach. So it can be easier to tolerate for sure. So my next, this is my actual, what I used literally last night as I went to bed. This is my CVS Health brand Diclofenac gel. So Diclofenac gel it's a NSAID. So that's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. It's similar to like an ibuprofen. So imagine if they took ibuprofen and ground it up and put it into a gel, and you could apply that to various topical areas. So it used to be prescription only in the US, and it was FDA approved for osteoarthritis pain, joint pain of the knees and hands. It was over the counter pretty much everywhere else in the world, and now it is actually back to being over the counter in the US. But the reason why they were able to get it FDA approved is because studies showed that it helped with that localized joint pain that people experience with osteoarthritis. It actually also really helps with that localized muscle pain that we experience in fibromyalgia. And I feel like one way to remember what it can help with is any itis. So if it's arthritis, plantar fasciitis, tendonitis, or what I call localized hotspots, muscle joint pain, areas of overuse after repetitive movement, so helpful. Only thing to keep in mind is I don't know why, but pets are insanely attracted to the smell of it once you put it on your skin, and it's bad for them. So don't let them lick your skin just after application. Once it's absorbed into your skin, it's all right, but as it's still kind of on the top of your skin surface, keep your pets away from it.
Oh, good tip. I was not aware of that. So I'll have to keep my pet parrot Milo away from me
Yes,
when I'm
well,
using
actually,
it.
I don't know about parrots. I have not investigated if it is toxic to parrots, but it definitely is
Probably.
not good for cats and dogs.
They
Um,
are, most things are toxic to our little parrots. So
yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
meet your parrot one day, right?
I
Because
hope so. He's
okay.
camera shy. So
So the only thing to keep in mind about this is, if you have an allergy to this class of medicines, obviously not a good idea. It is a good thing to just talk about with your doctor and say, hey, I want to try this. Do you have any concerns? Just to make sure that there's not any contraindication for you personally. But again, a really good thing to add to the toolbox, which I don't know why it's not more widely recommended and used. So if there's one thing that people get from watching this show, if they're like, oh, I'm going to try Diclofenac, and if they get even a little bit of benefit, I mean, I particularly use it for my jaw. And I know, Sharon, your jaw also bothers you a lot with TMJ. And we talked about that in the last episode, the different types of additional types of fibro pain or additional
yep.
conditions that you can have, like TMJ. I use this like literally every night. I use Diclofenac. It's a huge part of my personal pain toolkit. So might be something you can explore.
And I think of these topicals for me as addressing the often the pain that's for me the straw that broke the camel's back. It's the one thing that's pushing me like really over the edge in that moment.
Yep.
And I've gotten really good results with the topicals, and I know people in my support and education group have as well at the Fibromyalgia Association.
100%. I get a lot of positive feedback from patients as well. And I just like to remind people, obviously it's not going to help with that more widespread overall pain, but for those localized hotspots, whoo, it can be a really great thing to have in your toolbox. And then the last topical I'm going to talk about is kind of a big topic. So, CBD or cannabidiol, which is a non-psychoactive chemical that is derived from cannabis plants, actually has some really good topical pain relieving applications. So good, in fact, that it was actually part of what inspired me back in 2018. I started Frida Botanicals, which was a line of kind of doctor formulated CBD products. And then I had a magnesium cream. And I gave that up last year because I wanted to have more time to focus on things like this show. But there is a really good brand called Made by Hemp that has a lovely muscle relief CBD gel that also has like arnica and lavender and comfrey and several other pain relieving herbs that sort of in combination seem to amp up what the CBD can do. And it also smells really good. So I'll put a link in the description below. I would just say any CBD topical is worth a try, but just keep in mind, and this is not as much of an issue now, but back when I started that product line in 2018, there was just so many crappy products out there that really didn't have consistent quality, and you didn't know how much CBD you were getting. The product you were buying didn't even have any CBD in it. So that's much less of an issue now because all the major companies, they publish their third-party testing results, and that's really all you need. You just wanna make sure, "Hey, is there actual CBD in what I'm getting?" And if it's a concern for you, you wanna make sure that there's no THC in what you're getting. So THC is the psychoactive chemical that is within, cannabis, and the thing with that is it does actually have some additional, it's a pretty strong topical analgesic, but it is not legal in every state. And if you, for example, use a topical THC product and you get a drug test, it might show up in your urine. So if you are concerned at all about having THC in your product, just make sure that what you're getting tested, that the tests show no no THC. And Made by Hemp actually has a couple like CBD only, no THC products. So it's a good thing to kind of check out.
And I think those companies are also critical when the ones that do have the third party testing, and that's been my litmus test for whether I try a product or not, because if they don't have that third party testing, to me, that's usually a good sign that you don't know for sure what's in the product.
Sketchy for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, this is another one of my absolute favorite tools. And then the last little thing I'll say about topicals is you can actually stack them. So, for example, you could first put on diclofenac and then on top of that, a magnesium. So, you could try to get some of the anti inflammatory effects of the diclofenac gel along with some of the muscle relaxation effects of magnesium. You could also add CBD topicals on top of that or mix and match. And so I feel like that kind of gives some additional tools, ways to use it that I think are really, really helpful. And then I'm not going to go into it in this video, but I do talk about it in the Fibro manual. And that is there are actually prescription custom topicals that your doctor can order that can be compounded for you. And these can have a variety of ingredients like numbing medicines, like lidocaine, muscle relaxants, ketamine, all sorts of different ways to kind of locally treat pain in an even stronger and more customized version. So it's something that you could kind of chat about with your doctor. And there are some studies actually supporting it. And you can read about those and share some information with your doctor in the Fibro manual. I tried to lay it out so it wasn't that hard for doctors to like find that information.
I'm so glad that's in there because I have vulvodynia, and that's a painful overlapping pain condition of the vaginal area. And there's a topical that I get made from a compounding pharmacy with amitriptyline and a bunch of other wonderful ingredients, and that is a huge lifesaver. Saver. I don't have any oral medications that can help with that pain. The topical is the key for me with the vulvodynia.
100%. I also see it so useful for people that have like chronic post-herpetic neuralgia, which is like chronic nerve pain after a bout of shingles, and it can just be agonizing, just burning, fiery pain, or like trigeminal neuralgia. So I think it's well worth talking about with your doctor. And again, I don't know why more doctors aren't more familiar with it. Um, Sometimes insurance covers it, sometimes they don't. So it's a little bit pricier than these
Mhm.
other kind of over the counter topicals we're talking about. But I, I think they're all good options to look into. Um,
I find with the vulvodynia cream, it's a small quantity, but it lasts a long time.
yeah,
It
totally.
lasts a good amount. And ladies, like if you're recovering from a hysterectomy or even childbirth, it's a huge, huge lifesaver with probably in general, even if you didn't have fibromyalgia, vulvodynia.
Yes,
But
yes,
yes.
absolutely. And then Sharon, you were going to share with us, I think, a totally free way to address pain that is quick and easy. Do you want to do that now or do you want to do that at the end?
No, let's do that right now. So your vagus nerve is a major nerve in the body that is responsible for running a variety of things, including working to calm the central nervous system and turn off that fight or flight that's always so stuck on with with us with fibromyalgia. So I learned this quick breathing technique called vagus nerve breathing, and it's really short and sweet. So we're just going to do it real fast together here. You actually take 2 quick inhales without exhaling, and then you exhale slowly through your mouth. So you're going to go like this, and I'm going to repeat this for a minute. It's actually sort of like a sniff. That might be an easier way to describe the inhale. So sniff twice and then breathe out. Try to do it kind of quickly, the 2 sniffs, but then breathe out slowly through your mouth. So let's try it again all together. And in the last year since I've discovered this has a really quick calming effect on me. And sometimes I need to do maybe 2 rounds of it or 3 rounds of it in a row.
I
Ginevra,
really
what do you
like it.
think?
I really like it, and this is the first time I've been introduced to this, when we were talking about this episode, I've never heard of this, and I love it. It's super helpful and quick because I tend to sometimes struggle, often I'll tell people like, "Hey, take some deep belly breaths," but people like, "What does that mean?" And then when I'm trying to do it, sometimes if I'm super stressed and my fight or flight nervous system is just like really ramped up, even trying to like get myself to do a deep belly breath is like almost too hard or like I feel like I'm hyperventilating, but like the 2 sniffs in and it's easier.
Oh, good. Yeah, and the breathing can be really difficult because what happens with a lot of us, we become shallow breathers. And so and with the tightness of the muscles that we have with the fibromyalgia and everything, we actually do need to learn how to breathe again. And so, we're just talking about, we're like, this needs to be a whole show. So
Yes.
stay tuned. It's coming up. We're going to do the show on the whole breathing thing and you'll
'Cause
learn
there's all
more.
sorts of techniques and all sorts of ways, but anything that you can do to activate your vagus nerve, activate the relaxation response can help with fibro. And, if you think about how tight our muscles are, and if we can do things consciously to soften and lessen the tension, it reduces muscle pain. So it's really important for pain relief.
Another thing that is so helpful with pain relief, and I wanted to share this with everybody, is related to this quote. So, this is a quote we just shared on the Fibromyalgia Association Facebook page, which can be found on Facebook at Fibro Association. Living with fibromyalgia is hard. Living with people not believing my pain is real is incredibly painful. And we've had a lot of engagement on this post on our Facebook. Um, so if you're watching this and you're a significant other, supporter, friend, or family member of somebody with fibro, the way that you can help alleviate some of their pain is by believing them, by listening to what they're saying is happening to them. I know that some of this is really difficult to understand because until you've been through it, you can't possibly know what it's like to have pain out of nowhere and to have the immense amount of pain where you're looking under your clothes to see if there's marks there because it feels like something is that wrong. So that's a way that you could support your loved ones is just by believing them and supporting them. And I just wanted to share that here and give a shout out to everybody who has supportive friends and family. You're doing an amazing job and you're a part of the solution by being so supportive. And we recognize quite a bit that many people don't have this support. So that's in part why we have this show is we do not want you to be alone. We're happy you found us here. I think over time, as you watch the show, hopefully you'll learn some strategies where maybe you can meet new people, even through the community here on our YouTube page, um, where you can extend your community and start to connect with other people who do understand it. And I have found that that is so beneficial to chat with others who really understand and just frankly will listen to you and hear you.
And I think that in itself can be hugely therapeutic. Like there's therapeutic benefit in feeling heard and seen and understood. And that's where I think support groups like the support group you've been leading for, many decades, that itself, just being in a room of like, okay, these are 20 people that really know what I'm talking about when I say a fibro flare. Like that in itself is therapeutic. So we are trying to find new and creative and hopefully interesting ways to build that sense of community here with this show.
And thank you for dropping your comments. We do our best to get back to as many as possible. We do review all of them. Eventually, we will review all of them. We can't always respond to all of them, but we do take it into account when we're developing new shows, and if there's a lot of questions in one area, that helps us to know, oh, we need to work on an episode in this area soon. So thank you for that. And thank you for supporting one another. I love it when I see people in the comments sharing support to one another. So, as Ginevra said earlier, be sure to ring the bell, and you always know when new content comes out from us, and like and subscribe. And we enjoy seeing you here every week.
Sending you some fibro love.